There's no easy way, no easy explanation. Since I began living in this building now, after previously being assaulted in another community house mental health building, brutally, violently, and having compassion provided then, having a counselor who visited me with tubes coming out of my nose in the hospital after having brain surgery. Her name was Laura, and she wore a zebra shirt. And she had an appointment with me back then, now. And then another appointment didn't get scheduled for months, and she called, panicked. We got to make an appointment. I'm gonna mess up her documents. She had to see me, she said, within a certain amount of time to keep me active on her list of clients. And I still to this day feel gracious and warm-hearted every time I think about those days in community house mental health and how much has changed now with all of the young and proud University of Washington graduates and master degree social work, social science professionals. And how distracting and confusing making decisions and solving problems has gotten. Being told to just go down there, go to the office hours for her. Though she said previously, don't go to those office hours about counseling. And also, a risk involved with a coronavirus pandemic going down to their treatment center, community house mental health treatment center, not knowing who's going to be there, having had no phone call returned previously. And my other contact with them, no longer there, they said, named Sam. A new counselor social worker who had replaced him, though I'd never met and haven't met. So much uncertainty. There's hallucination. So many responses to my sound. My consciousness no longer feels my freedom in my bones having an apartment. My consciousness sees. My consciousness, my brain, my body hears and feels. The difficulty using eye contact and feminism and behavior observation to control and limit a paying client receiving services from a mental health organization in Seattle, Washington. Conclusion. My walls feel like they're bugged in a movie similar to Conspiracy Theory. My ears feel like they hear ghosts. Men where women live. Strange sounds, voices and whispers. Stuff hitting my wall. Touching my wall. My door. Items on my doorstep. And disarray. Almost as if there's microphones in the apartments next door to me, and observers hearing my recordings on video on YouTube, on Have You Ever, and monitoring my behavior to decide my fate as a renter, and an ultimate conclusion involving homelessness and death? And probably worse now. Trying to go to medical school inherently has heartache, sacrifice, long hours reading, long hours studying, seeing blood, babies with deformations. But gosh darn, community house mental health in Seattle has now gotten worse and made medical school too treacherous, too risky and dangerous. And simply buying a rope to make sure when I'm homeless, for no other reason other than someone who likes to smoke cigarettes and have awareness, then I will finally be able to speak and say freedom. Silence and quiet, not planned and observed. Silence and quiet, I as a human have a right to appreciate. And no requirement to explain my consciousness as a color, a distance of my emotion in my brain. And definitely, and lastly, and finally, $4,000 videos should make any Mr. President, any Mr. Governor, any doctor at the University of Washington, any professor at MIT, anybody in the United States Air Force and the United States Navy, anybody at Johns Hopkins University Consciousness Research Center, St. Jude's Hospital, Valley Children's Hospital, Phoenix Children's Hospital, shiver and be more scared than Osama bin Laden when a SEAL team stopped him in his duality. Now, when a chaplain can't say, when a chaplain can't do, when a chaplain can't wear the United States Army shirt and pants and say, I am an applicant. And worse, when a pediatric medical school applicant can't say, I'm a resident, I'm in medical school. To let those people who are so worried about my speed and quickness and fast moving hand to have their awareness blink and not see their attention blink. And their eyes read what Gandhi said. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. And what Tibetans know best, mantra and death are all a person has when suffering never ends. When suffering and duality are encouraged. Now,